On the mound or the long ball, but we don't put the wrong strings, yeah. It's that time of the year now. Wrigley or Gantes or the whole league that we hear now. New show with a new mood, discussions and interviews. Trade rumors that might be. This is Pinwheels and Knife.
What's going on, everybody? We're doing the social media tweets and retweets and all that fun stuff. And
Zoe, I just kind of want to play it already.
what the NASCAR?
I have no restraint.
The NASCAR? No, you gotta save it. You gotta save it. You
I
gotta save it.
I'll
I'm gonna do teasers to it too. Like, hold on, just all right. You guys ready?
Yeah, we're good to go.
Do it.
3, 2, 1. What's going on, everybody? It is Thursday, August 4th, and you have found the Pinwheels and Ivy podcast. I am your host, Matt Swaski, aka Southside Zoe, aka Father Zoe. And with me, as always, back from his trip, Mr. Aldo Soto.
Good to be back, just like Wilson Contreras and Nina Happ, I guess. Right? I think.
Yep.
Mixed feelings all around. All right. I love it. I love the love, guys.
And the good Reverend K. Fids.
Aldo, we just wanted to inform you on the air that we will be extending the qualifying offer to you. So nobody else will be able to at least offer you any kind of trade for another podcast unless they trade us something back in return. We get some, podcast draft picks.
50K.
How highly we think of you.
I was gonna say, I guess podcast guest spots are going for $50K a pop, so why not? And then also, you know him, you love him. He's wearing my favorite shirt just because I think he's trying to cheer me up a little bit. You know him as NASCAR Mitch. What's up, Mitch?
How we doing, boys? Trade deadline, not so good, but a lot of NASCAR action to talk about to cheer everyone up at the end. But
all right,
I'll give you the floor because I know you got a rant coming.
Well, as a teaser going into this, if you've never stayed to the end for NASCAR Mitch's segment, thanks to a good friend of the show, Lil Yumper, you're gonna want to stay to the end of the show to see at least the intro.
The intro
not play it
itself. Let's be honest.
We gotta hold ourselves, but yeah, people are lining up. That was before we even went live. People in the comment section saying I'm here for NASCAR minutes. So Cubs, White Sox, we're going to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly. There was a trade deadline, contrary to popular belief in the White Sox front office. So we're going to talk about some of that. I think by this time you guys already know what it is. And let's tap this guy. As always, this show is brought to you by Sports Mockery, sportsmockery.com. Make sure you're downloading the app. Turn on push notifications so you can be notified when the White Sox don't make a trade, when the Bears season starts, and when everything else goes down. Sports Mockery, sportsmockery.com. Make sure you're downloading the app. Although apparently someone's already got beef with you in the comment section.
I have beef a few shows ago. Showing the Cardinals.
Oh, yeah, buddy. I'm sorry. Thomas Duran, bud. I think I know who you are, and I appreciate you, bud. If you're a part of the Southside Duran clan, I know a lot of your family. I do not follow me on Twitter then, because I regularly shit on the Cardinals.
I get it. How did he shit in Cardinals fans? I'm actually curious at the process of that, because I've shit on them before, but in them,
I'll actually Google
rivalry.
Google 2 Girls 1 Cup, and we'll get back to that.
How do you spell that again? 2
Girls 1 Cup. It's actually how monkeypox just started, so it's a really fascinating video. You should go and download that.
Oh wait, that's 4 Dudes 1 Barrel. Never mind, wrong website.
We'd love to have Brett Taylor on the show one day. We could probably get that done.
Yeah, absolutely. Very busy man.
I think we can get that done. Yeah, as long as he pays us $20,000, we can have him on.
Right. That's like what, a 60% discount.
Yeah, Tom. Duran. This is the type of show that you will get jumped on for a typo. So sorry about that, but
just don't call us out when we mispronounce names.
It's just how the show. Yeah, just don't call us out when I butcher someone's name. All right, so I know what you're all here for. I know everybody's expecting me to just freak out, man, but we're gonna hold off on that. I do want to start on a positive note. We'll start the show on a high note. I mean, for what it's worth, the White Sox have won 7 of their 10 last games. I mean, granted, it was against, the last series were the A's and the Royals. So don't hold it to me if, I'm not making parade plans with Mitch yet. But you got to play the games that are on the schedule. You got to win the games that are on the schedule. They're doing this weird fucking thing right now where they lose the first game of the series and then win the next two. But if that's the pattern they want to go for the rest of the season, that's going to win them the division. As we do this show on Wednesday, all three, the Twins, the Guardians, and the White Sox all won today. So as the show is being recorded, the White Sox are 2 games out of first place. On August 3rd, the division is very much winnable. Couple things before we go around and what you guys are seeing with this streak with the White Sox. Lance Lynn pitched on Wednesday. Big Papa looked really good. Looked like vintage Lance Lynn. Fastball was moving, getting hitters out, grabbing his crotch. The Royals lineup isn't exactly scaring anyone anytime soon, especially now that Whit Merrifield, in the most random trade in the world, got traded to the Blue Jays when we all know he's not vaccinated. So someone stuck a needle in his arm real quick. But yeah, that lineup's nuts. But anyways, it was more of a movement thing with Lance. It always was. So to see the movement on the fastball, the slider looked good. The cutter looked really good. That's his knockout pitch. So that was looking good. So that was really good to see. Giolito's scratching the surface. We saw a great start from Michael Kopech, and Dylan Cease won pitcher of the month back-to-back. Not good enough to be an all-star or a diamond player in MLB The Show, but he can be pitcher of the month 2 months in a row. Fuck cards. It's building up, man. It's sitting like right in my chest.
Are you allowed to smoke in the house? Can you smoke cigarettes in the house? Because I would really love to see you just ripping a heater right now.
This would turn into one of those hostage videos where Mrs. O just cuts my head off on live video because if I even thought about lighting a cigarette in this house.
Imagine if the Sox had lost 7 of 10.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been here tonight. I would have been in a padded room in a straitjacket. Hitting wise, it's August Abreu, baby. It's August Abreu. Pete, though, I mean, he is
MVP time.
Fids, I know you know this. What were the dudes' names that in not Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, the Dothraki, right?
The Dothraki, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's got the Dothraki chin stuff going on here. He's down to 3 rubber bands. That thing's like in mid-season form now. He's hitting Oppo homers. It's looking good. No one's hotter than Eloy. I think I saw something in the last 10 games. Eloy's batting average went from like 140 to 290.
Mm-hmm.
He's slugging over 450 now. I mean, he's in such a like in the zone period now where he's barely touching the ball and it's finding its way like around fielders. It's like that old Bugs Bunny cartoon when the ball like swigs in and out of fielder. Like he had a hit on Wednesday that I thought it was going to go in front of the catcher and it rolled into center field. It was whatever, good for him. He's going. Everybody's really going for the White Sox right now, except for Tim Anderson. He's turned into the captain double play.
What did I tell you guys? Danny Mendick.
Danny Mendick's not doing too good, bud.
Well, I'm telling you, what did I tell you? The offense was better with Danny Mendick.
Danny is unavailable. But Tim's still an all. I mean, he still gets hits. It's just it seems like when there's runners on. It's
Well,
like
I think the
rain
problem
fire.
with it, like, he just hasn't. I mean, I know he's never been like a power guy, but like he's not really hitting like any doubles anymore either. His
No, but
slugging is way down.
I'll take the base hits though. I mean, I would love to see those base hits when he has 2 runners on and no outs though.
Yeah, I saw he's very bad with runners on base or runners in scoring position.
Yeah, it's the double plays. I mean, Mitch, I'm sure you see it too. If there's a runner on first and less than 1 out or 2 outs, it's going to be a double play now. TA's gotten into being that guy. Fidge, your boy Andrew Vaughn, they keep batting him in the 2 spot, and he's just hitting them where they ain't, and he's hitting them hard as fuck too. So, love seeing that. Love seeing Josh Harrison turn it around. And I do want to address something. I'm going to get into this a little bit later in my tweets. I fucking hate when people do, but I saw this little asshole tweet. Where are all those people at that wanted to DFA Josh? Not you, Beefloaf. I know you're on vacation. I'm not going to subtweet you on the thing. This is some other guy. Where are all the people that wanted to DFA Josh Harrison after just 90 days of bad baseball? Homeboy is 35 years old on a tryout contract. Forgive me if after 3 months I'm like, let's try something else.
Can we let the record show who never gave up?
I'll give that to you. I
On
always
Harrison.
do. That's another one of the people that I'm going to talk about is people that can't admit when they're wrong. I will. You guys know me by now. I will always admit when I was wrong. I'm first in line saying I'm glad Josh got it together. We said when he made the signing, I think I did like a 20-minute segment about how he's a great clubhouse guy and he's a great guy to have in the building.
Yep.
And I'm really happy he's going to stick around. I'm happy he figured it out. I don't want anyone on the White Sox to ever be bad.
Mhm.
But 3 months on a 1-year deal for a 35-year-old, I think is valid for me to be like, hey, it's time to DFA this guy and try something else. I don't feel like I was wrong in saying that.
No,
Yep.
not at all. It's been not even just bad. It was like liability out there. Like
Yes.
it was.
And he refused to take walks. Like balls were 3 feet out of the zone. He was lunging at the ball for ball 4. It was
It's not like you're
infuriating.
providing any lights out defense either. I mean, that was fair. And like you said, I'm glad he's turned it around. I think it's really helped the offense out. Now they're keeping the line moving at the bottom of the lineup. And what do you know? Yuri Garcia is out of the lineup the past couple of games, and the offense looks a lot better. So
Gavin Sheets starts hitting, and then he hurt his ankle running into a wall, which is weird what happens when you have first baseman playing the outfield. Probably could have been addressed in the trade deadline, but we're going to get to that in just a minute.
All these veiled threats at the rant. It's coming. Building.
Who else has got? I mean, Adam Engel is doing his normal thing, 2-something hitter. But
Yohan Moncada has been on
wheels.
fire.
With runners in scoring, he's the opposite. Him and Tim
He's
Anderson are
opposite
polar
tier.
opposites. When no one's on base, Moncada looks like he can give a flying fuck at the plate. If someone's on base, he is all-star, like, let's go. And it's wild to see. And then the other breaking news here, though, is Luis Robert not in hospice.
Not
'Cause,
dead. All right.
dude, don't fucking piss on my head and tell me it's raining. You know what I mean? Like, he went out for lightheadedness before the All-Star break. It's 3 weeks later, and he still has flu-like symptoms. And there's a couple things. This is very concerning to me, not even now as someone that's like, wow, I hope this guy plays center field for my favorite team. Now it's like, I've been along this journey with this guy. I don't know him, but like I've been part of this, whatever. I just hope as a human, he's okay.
Mhm.
Like it's like past the whole fandom thing. It's like a humane thing. And they're trying, like, how I get, okay, maybe if this is outside of the area of the expertise of the guy that wraps ankles or like deals with ACL tears and stuff like that, but it's a major city. We have some of the best hospitals in the world in this city. Can't they just take him to a doctor and be like, what the fuck's wrong with this guy? It's $1 billion organization.
Did they ever, by the way, say, because he went on the IL, right? He went.
Yeah,
he's
no, they
back
never
now.
put him
He's
on the
back
IL.
on the
He's
back
back-
on
so
the
he's
active
like-
roster. They said he was supposed to play today. Obviously, that didn't happen. So
Yeah,
I think they're hoping he plays.
although,
in
but that
Kansas
was the
City.
thing. They never put him on the IL.
Oh, okay.
He held that roster spot. For some reason, they just felt like, I don't know, they were good enough to play shorthanded. And he held that roster spot because I don't think they knew what the hell was wrong with him.
Because like, did
Well, I think he did go on the
Charlotte?
10-day IL.
Yeah, I think he went on the 10-day.
He was on the
Oh,
10-day because he just got
okay.
activated and Davis Martin got sent back down.
No,
Oh.
but I was gonna ask, like, what was the designation? Like, what was the injury? Did they?
They haven't
Just
signed
flu-like symptoms.
flu-like
Yeah,
symptoms, dude, for 3 weeks.
like dizzy, and they said like dizziness and blurred vision, but other than that,
And
they like
I don't know
didn't
what
was going-
I don't know what to expect when he comes back. He did one rehab start in Charlotte. He swung at the first pitch 3 times. He actually worked it for like, I think Josh Nelson.
All right, same approach.
He
Same
worked
approach.
for 7 minutes. And then he couldn't
Yeah.
play the next day.
Yeah, I mean, the weird part is that they activated him and then he just didn't play.
He just showed up in the clubhouse over the weekend. And like, it almost seemed like the players were even like, oh, what? Okay, cool. What's up, dude? So, but
Luis
there,
Watkins over here.
yeah, right.
Just like
Play-
holding him by his arm, carrying him.
I
walk
mean,
him over.
I'm glad he's back. I hope they don't rush him for like just again on a human being level. Like, so I mean, those are the positive. There is good baseball being played on the field against teams.
Come
that
on,
they
Zoe,
should
you
be.
have Cubs fans waiting for your rant.
but it's teams that they should be beating though, and it's good. That's what you got to do. You got to play the games that are in there. But then the trade deadline comes, and I don't think I've ever felt more insulted as a White Sox fan than I was at this trade deadline. Now, I've said on the show multiple times leading up to this deadline, I think this is one of the most crucial trade deadlines of Rick Hahn's career as a GM. He has a team that on paper should be running away with this division that is playing well underneath expectations, well underneath what they should be doing, just not doing what they should be doing. There are glaring holes on this team. And then there's guys like us four. I mean, me and Mitch specifically, because we're the Sox fans on the show, who watch every pitch, who go to the games, who wear the stupid fucking Hawaiian shirts, who buy the merch, who go on this and sacrifice time out of their week every week to talk about it, who tweets everything, who hangs on every aspect of this team. And you have glaring holes on this team. And there's a very active trade deadline. There's things going back and forth. And the best thing you do is you walk away with Jake Diekman. Is it Deke or Dyke?
It's Deke.
Jake Diekman. Which, okay, you needed a lefty reliever. I was like, okay, decent start, small start, let's go. All right. But I need more. You have first baseman playing the fucking outfield. Your utility guys should not be starting every day. And all of a sudden, on Tuesday, there's decent sized names flying around everywhere. Guys that I would love on the White Sox. I mean, Juan Soto, okay, let's get over that. We all knew he wasn't coming to the White Sox. The trade was one for the books. But like the reliever Lopez going from Baltimore to the fucking Twins of everybody. Your fucking rival, the people you're trying to catch are sitting there getting better on guys that you should have. And you're sitting there on your fucking thumbs. And then they go out and they get a good starting pitcher too. And you're just sitting and you're like, okay, well, what are you doing? I'm doing the live space with Josh Nelson and all those guys. And they're sitting there. They're like, there's not even rumors.
There was one.
What, the Ohtani bullshit?
No. That one was just for everyone to laugh at. The White Sox wanted everyone to know that they were in on Jose Quintana.
That drove me. That was the last straw. That literally broke my back. Because then there was the Ohtani news. Like there was 3 teams that made serious offers for Ohtani, and the White Sox were one of them. We don't know what that offer is. We'll never know what that offer is. I don't know how they got their name in it, whose palm they greased, if they paid $50,000 to be on the podcast, whatever. But their name was in there. And then Twitter ran away with it. I was just like, whatever. I actually took that as a sign as a good thing. I was like, oh, they're taking big swings. If we're making packages for Ohtani, of course we're going to go and get some of these mid-tier guys. What a dumb fuck I am. Because I thought, yeah, let's go. I was ready to go. But you're looking at a guy with just egg all over his face because I gave him the benefit of the doubt. And I like Rick Hahn. I know I'm in a vast majority, and I'm going to say this right now. I like Rick Hahn. I think he's a man of integrity. I think he's very smart. I don't know what the fuck happened here. So the trade deadline comes and goes. You're seeing guys go like Noah Syndergaard. Would have loved him in the lineup because you don't know what's going on with it. Like Rasul Iglesias goes to Atlanta. Ooh, that was decent in the White Sox bullpen. Chris Drury goes to the Padres because why not? The Padres just need every fucking player that's available. They got Josh Hader too. You need a lefty reliever. Apparently the best lefty reliever in baseball over the last couple of years is available. And they could have matched that offer for Hader. It would have hurt a little bit, but they could have matched that offer. The Soto offer, no, I mean, whatever. I'm not even going to touch that. They could have matched that offer. And then, so it comes and goes. I was shell shocked. I was shocked. You literally just slapped the entire fan base in the face, in my opinion. You slapped. It was the most disrespectful thing. I've never wanted to fight someone I don't know more in my entire life. I legit wanted to go and fight. I mean, I'm not threatening physical violence, so everyone calm the fuck down. It was just expressing the level of anger.
But if you see Rick,
I'd probably just
on the
give him a
street.
firm handshake and talk to him a little bit. That's all I want to do is just talk to him a little bit. But
Mitch, your thoughts before we jump in?
Oh, I'm going to let him go. You can go ahead.
Yeah.
Keep
So
going.
then-
Keep going, Zach.
so then it ends. I'm sitting there in shock. Don't know what the fuck's going on. And I go through like the 7 stages of like emotions, like denial, anger, like grief, acceptance, all that other bullshit. And I wake up today thinking I'll be over it. I'm not over it. All the time, all the effort, all the hours, all the pitches, all the bullshit, everything that we sit through, all the time I spent defending, talking about everything of this team. And I feel like I just got fucking pissed on. Whatever you're playing, Fids, turn it off, please.
I was really trying to set the mood. I was trying to
And I
push.
just got fucking, it was an insult, man. It was an insult to every White Sox fan out there. It drove me absolutely insane. And then this dude, we all knew it was coming too. I don't know why I'm acting surprised or why I thought this would be different. We all knew it was coming. Bruhan Luke even put up a fucking drinking game for it, which he was spot on. But Han came out. This asshole comes out does his press conference from the dugout, and he does like the spread legs, like, oh, I'm gonna hang my arm here, like I'm super disappointed in what's going on. And he talks about how no one's more disappointed than they are. The fuck, that's right. I can name about 40,000 people that are more disappointed than you, Chuckles. And then he says he has the fucking balls to come out and he's like, oh, it's not a money thing. Don't put this on Jerry. It's not a money thing. If it's not a money thing and it's not on Jerry, that's on you, asshole. You're not doing your job. Could you imagine? I'm in sales. Could you imagine I tell my boss I have like the worst I bring in $0 or okay, I'll say $250 in a month because I got Jake Diekman. And fucking I tell my boss, hey, it's cool though. I tried. It moved really, really fast and I didn't know what to do. Bro, I'd be getting unemployment right now. This is insane. I don't know. I don't get how that flies. I don't get how he's still employed right now. So either he's just jumping on the grenade for Jerry, because Jerry was sitting there nixing trades and saying you can't take on this money, and to keep his job, Han's out there being like, yeah, this was on me. Jerry gave me a blank check. Like I fucked up. Or he's incompetent. I mean, I'm not seeing a third option here.
Dallas Keuchel is the third option. He's the problem.
I mean, he needs to go practice falling down because he's fucking garbage. And that's basically where I'm at right now. And like, I couldn't even watch the game on Tuesday night. And I love White Sox. I love the White Sox. I think I've expressed that on the show very clearly a million times how much I love the White Sox. And I couldn't even watch the game on Tuesday. I got the updates on my phone and I saw all the runs and I was like, oh, dope. But if you look at my Twitter feed, I think I had one tweet during the game, which for me is very low. And it was just a dog in him tweet because Eloy is a dog. But I was sick, dude. I felt fucking insulted, dude. And I still feel insulted. And they're going to go on a little run here, and it's going to be great because they're playing a fairly easy schedule for the rest. And it looks like these bats are going. The pitchers are starting to find their groove. I think they're still going to win a division. I can still be optimistic about the season and be mad right now. And that's exactly where I'm at. I don't understand how this fucking happened. And he literally said it just was going really fast. Are you fucking kidding me? How long have you been in this position? Like that's a joke. Like I don't know how in his brain, he's a smart guy too. I don't understand how from his brain to his mouth, it came out like this is a good thing to say out loud. Like I'm teaching my 1-year-old how to like filter shit and like use your words. Like I don't understand how that fucking happens. Absolutely insane to me. And the press conference, I had to go outside. I go outside and rip a heater because I was about to break my TV, which is stupid. I hate those videos because you're a fucking idiot. It's your own property. But I was so mad. So I'm literally like my fist is clenched into like right now. I'm like rubbing. I'm so mad right now. And yeah, I think I'm more mad now than I was after the Harper Machado shit.
Zulk.
I'm more mad right now. So I'm going to take a breath. I'm going to sip on this delicious pop right here. You guys go ahead, whatever you got on it.
All right, Mitch, next up.
Oh, I got to follow that up. I mean, yeah, it feels, I'll be honest, I was not as shocked because there's a whole lot of rinse and repeat with when the Ohtani news came out. And then there's another report from Jim Bowden, I think, that's like, oh, the White Sox are in all these like premium players. And then, of course, nothing happened. So it's like, yeah, that was all like a bullshit smokescreen, obviously. So, I mean, not really. I don't know. And I get they have a bad farm system and everything, but it's almost like with the general manager, it's like that Seinfeld like bit with like the rent a car. Like, yeah, you know how to like take the reservation, but you know how to keep the reservation. That's the most important part. And that's kind of the same thing when you have a contending team. Yeah, you built the contender, but you know, like, you got to add the final pieces to push it over the edge. And that's kind of like one of the most important parts to supplement the roster, especially when we got holes that we realized that the like heading
Glaring holes.
what the holes.
Everybody
were
knows
on
what
this
the holes
roster.
team.
And what were we still talking about come August? The same holes on the roster and did nothing to address it. And even like the bullpen help, like, yeah, we need like we need reliever help. Like Jake Diekman, I mean, he's got the worst walk rate among qualified relievers. I mean, it's a fine pickup, but like that's not moving the needle for anything. And so like the fact that that's the only move. I mean, Zoe said it. It's kind of a.
Do you guys remember a couple years ago when the Padres and the White Sox had the number like 2 and 3 farm system in baseball? It's when like Robert was still in the farm system and all that shit. And then like the White Sox called their guys up, which you know you're supposed to do, and the Padres did the same. But miraculously, the Padres remain having a top fucking farm system, and the White Sox went to the basement and can't get out. I mean, like that shows again more front office incompetence.
And it seemed like every team was making move. Like the Twins had the 19th ranked farm system entering the season. Like it's better than the Sox, but like that's nothing special. And they're added all these relievers. They improved the rotation. Everyone around the White Sox seemed to be getting better, except for them. So, and then of course he gets out there and he does his like usual word salad too. Like you could have done a drinking game with like what he was.
It wasn't even a good one.
No,
it was like one of his worst bullshit conferences he's done. He did a way better one after the Machado Harper fuck up. Like this one just made me more mad. Usually, like you laugh at it and you're like, "Oh, he's back on his bullshit, whatever."
But he still had a little wiggle room back then, though. He wasn't in the doghouse like he was.
I just don't understand.
Now.
I just don't understand that how you can fuck up your job so much and still be employed today.
I mean, I think the only thing I can add, and Trees made a comment from the YouTube comments too. You know, making fun of the lack of player development. And the lack of guys that you can trade, and like the flaw or the real problem with this trade deadline is that the White Sox didn't have anyone that they could trade.
No,
the only good guy they have is Colson
that.
Montgomery. So the problem goes back to the offseason, 6 months ago, whatever it was.
Yes.
When, like you said, Zoe, the glaring needs were there. Everybody knew it. Need a right fielder, need second base. Probably use a better starting pitcher or,
Especially when you got a guy like Kopech that's on an innings limit. You're watching his innings. I'm sorry. Go
so
on.
like
I don't mean
that's where the real problem was, because at that point, that's when you can just be like, all right, fine. We don't have anyone that we could trade because our prospects, our farm system isn't that good. So let's shell out the money. But instead, he decided to spend the money on Kendall Graveman, Joe Kelly. He did the Kimbrel trade. I mean, at the end of the day, that Craig Kimbrel trade is going to every team that's going to be connected to that is going to lose. The Cubs, the Dodgers, the White Sox. Like that's just
that one didn't work. But like, at least they were being aggressive. They're like, all right, we need bullpen help. This is the best reliever on the market. Let's go get it. So I didn't even like when it happened. It's like, all right, I understand it. Like, good for being aggressive. The only rumor that they really had, because I remember I was sitting at my computer all day, like for the deadline stuff, like waiting for something to happen. And then, of course, the Ohtani rumor comes out, but like, I don't think any like reasonable White Sox fan thought that was actually going to happen. Like, that just seemed like, all right, yeah, that's. But they weren't like, other than that, they really were not attached to anyone else, like of note, which is also frustrating. So like that was frustrating enough in itself, sitting around all day. And then, of course, when they do make a trade, I was out for dinner. I was like, you got to be kidding me, Rick Hahn. And then that was the only one they made. So I couldn't even get to that in timely fashion. So Rick Hahn screwed me too. And all the rest of it. Yeah, it's brutal.
And then this is not a time for these kind of comments. But Paul, appreciate you listening to the show. If the Sox misuse Kimbrel, then what are the Dodgers doing with them? What's happening what's the excuse in LA?
What was I gonna say? And then obviously the backdrop of this is that the White Sox are a disappointing team. Like imagine if the White Sox were not like Yankees level, like beating up everyone, but they were like firmly in first place, and they only added Jake Diekman. You would have been like, all right, kind of slow, but we have a great team. So like obviously it does fall back on the players, the horrid start that they started, and
but if you're gonna,
we've all made a mention of the schedule. He's gonna be in it. So,
I mean, but when you come out and like it's a limited the window's closing, like the clock's ticking on the window, and he's going to come out and say, like, look, like, I'm not going to be satisfied until we have like championship parade, and your only move is to add Jake in year 2 of your contention window. When you only got like 2 more of these, like, why are you like, they're wasting a season? They're punting on a season.
I'm so sick of windows. I'm so sick of seats at the tables. I'm so sick of fucking mirrored and mediocrity. I'm so sick of all that bullshit. They have a very good team on paper right now. And now, I mean, in the last 10 games, we're seeing guys play to where we thought they'd be. Ish.
I thought this team would score a ton more runs and would really mask even any kind of mound struggles they might have. I really did think that this offense was going to put up 6-7 runs a game consistently, and it just, and I don't know what the approach is. We've talked about Menochino and the put the ball in play thing. I don't know if it has to do with that. Sooner or later, they've probably gone away from that at this point. So I mean, I don't think they're still preaching that because it's not working. You always adapt and adjust, but I thought this team was going to be putting up beer league softball scores on a routine basis, and
They should be.
they haven't.
No, they haven't. They should be. I mean, they, without a doubt, they need to this offseason, because again, the way I see this playing out, they win the division, they're going to lose in the playoffs. I mean, look at what the Yankees, look at what the Padres did to their team. Like, I can't see the White Sox competing with any of those teams. The Astros,
The Mariners.
the Mariners. I mean,
You
at
could
the
argue last year too at full strength. I think they were slightly more
Right.
talented than they are this year, and they still got their ass handed to them in the first round.
So the season ends. If Rick Hahn is still around, I mean, Frank's got to go. Cat's probably, I don't know. They'll probably keep him. I don't know. There's a love affair there. I mean, Tony won't get fired. And I think people are wasting their time saying, fire Tony, fire Tony, fire Tony. They're not going to fire fucking Tony. I don't know how many times we have to say that, how many times other people have said, they're not going to fire Tony. Jerry's just not going to let that happen again. As long as it's Jerry's money, he's not going to let Tony get fired again. What they need to do is have a good, long, hard talk with Tony and be like, bro, you're almost 80 years old. Maybe you move into like an advisor role, something like that. But they need a younger guy in that dugout. I stress this enough, how much I respect Tony La Russa as a baseball person. His knowledge of baseball, his career in baseball, what happens outside of baseball, I don't give a shit about, but it's what he's done for baseball I'm strictly talking about right now. The man is top of the line. And he should be in an advisor role. But he's 80 years old, man.
I have a question. Like, I'm like the two Bobs in Office Space sitting down with Miguel Cairo. What is it you exactly do here?
He can go too.
Anyway.
No one would even know. No
Like,
one, literally
what
no
is
one would
your
know.
job, buddy. Like,
I mean, I watch, like I
Right.
mentioned earlier, I watch every pitch, everything with this team. Miguel Cairo could be pumping gas next to me at the gas station. I wouldn't know who the fuck it was. Like, I just don't know what he does.
I have a question. Let's play this out hypothetically. Then, obviously the best case scenario for the White Sox right now is win division, get to the playoffs. Maybe they win that wild card game, but right now you're thinking once they're playing the Yankees or the Astros,
Yeah.
they're gonna get beat. So let's say that happens. Heading into the offseason, so in terms of the core players, Luis Robert, Eloy, Yohan Moncada, Tim Anderson. Abreu is going to be a free agent, but I'm assuming that he's going to want to come back. Then
Yeah, I think they're going to
back.
start. I think they're going
need
to
him back.
They're just going to start rocking those 1-year deals with him until it's over.
Andrew Vaughn. So out of the, and then Yasmani Grandal has the one more deal. Out of those, what did I say? 6-7 players. Would you be content if it's another year of failure at the end of 2022 if just they bring all those guys right back?
I'd be all right with it.
Or do you want to see them shake it up at least a little bit?
There's so many other things though that's contingent on. You know what I mean? Like, who's playing second base? Like, I mean, if it costs Eloy to get you an arm and a second baseman, then okay, like maybe we talk about shaking shit up a little bit. But every player you just named is a good baseball player.
Yeah.
Every player you just named starts on almost every team in this league.
Of course.
In one aspect of it. But I don't think it's like a meshing problem with this team. I just feel like I mean, again, the reason why I was saying all that about Tony is I just in my head I can't picture Tony like getting a guy up or like giving that rah-rah speech or like and I'm not gonna lean on he fell asleep in the dugout. All right, it was funny and it was like embarrassing and whatever, but he's almost 80. And Fids, me and you talked about it in the thing because I was hot and you brought me back down to earth. But like, I mean, the camera guy saw an opportunity, jumped all over it, and people, aren't going to let that go. But it's just, I think for this team, he is not a good fit as the manager. I think for this team, they need someone a little bit younger, someone a little bit more fiery, and I'm not saying Ozzie, stop. I know one of you is going to be like, oh, you just described Ozzie Guillen. I am not saying Ozzie Guillen by any length or measure. I'm just saying somebody that can, chew a guy out or, you know what I mean? Like right now, I feel like there's no accountability on this team from the top down because apparently Rick Hahn could just not do his job and be okay. We're seeing guys do lazy ass shit and other shit that they should be benched for and all stuff. Just no accountability.
There's no bad cop in that clubhouse right now.
No.
That's the problem that I think this team has. You have to have a good cop and a bad cop. You can't have two good cops. You can't have best buddies, and you can't have all bad cops either. You need to have someone that breaks the lever. Breaks it down too. But this
Dallas Keuchel was one of a corrupt cop.
Dallas Keuchel's an asshole.
He was one of those douchebags from what was it? With Denzel Washington when Denzel Washington where they get into his doghouse and they like take all the money and they kill his dog. American Gangster. But no, there is no. Somebody has to. There is nobody getting butts. Usually there has to be some. I mean, there has to be somebody that's going to chew someone out. Someone that's going. I hate to say this, and I'm not advocating, whatever. But someone maybe needs to throw somebody up against the wall and say, "Get your head out of your ass." Shit here. Somebody, and there's nobody in there that really has that. It sounds like everybody's more intent to go back to their cubby hole and just chill out.
Ooh, a little echo.
But then someone's got to do it. Someone's got to do it.
Drake shit. Do a Billy Bean, man. Just go in there and just start throwing shit and be like, winning doesn't sound like this or whatever the speech was. I'm just saying, like,
it's an act.
It is an act, but Tony don't got the effort. Tony got time for that shit. Tony's got enough energy to get through the fucking day, man. He ain't got energy to go in there and start throwing shit around. And I don't know. Cairo does nothing. I mean,
he makes the nice lineup cards. He makes the
he does that.
He has great handwriting.
He does have very nice handwriting.
Yeah,
but that to me is the biggest thing that needs to be addressed.
Get into the graphics department.
I feel like the talent is on this roster minus the instances that we've mentioned before. I think they need an ass kicker, and he's not there.
And
he's not there.
There's no one in the clubhouse really either. Liam Hendricks had a really good interview on 670 Score a couple weeks ago, and they were like asking him about like the accountability in the clubhouse. And it was basically like, well, Jose Abreu occasionally will like pull people aside and talk to him, but that's about it. Like Liam is in the bullpen half the time. So like those bullpen people are really isolated. Of some starting pitchers, you're pitching once every 5 days. They don't really feel comfortable. So there's no one in that clubhouse really that has the personality either to like kind of be, it has to come from one of the coaches. And he's just not seeing it. So that's what also.
I needed to catch my breath a little bit, but I want to bring this up because I want you guys, this needs to be addressed because this is one of the more wild things that happened at the trade deadline. How is Wilson Contreras and Ian Happ still on the Cubs? Wilson Contreras easily leads the league in dugout hugs now. Mm-hmm. And it's just, how does that happen? I'll leave that to you two. I just don't get how that happens.
Take it away, Kevin.
Well, I mean, because you sit on your hands. I mean, we've talked about it. He was tradable. He actually had a robust market in early June, and a lot of people were like, "Well, it's too early. You want to get close to the deadline." But what happened in this whole trade deadline is the fact that 6 catchers were traded from some team to another team in this draft, and I think that in general, I think Jed Hoyer negotiating, getting in these talks. I think last year created a trigger shy opposition. I think everybody has got one eye open. Nobody wants to get Pete Crow Armstrong. Nobody. I mean, that's a testament to what Jed did last year. I'll got to compliment that. But holy smokes, he goes in there and nobody wanted to deal with him. None. Mets weren't going to give. Mets, and again, I don't take, he's going to say what he says. oh, we didn't like these offers. I'm telling you 100%. Everybody walked away from Jed. Jed didn't walk away from shit. Jed offered and tried, and everyone's like, yeah, no, dude. I think
he was just asking for too much.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I just want to be clear.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And so, Willie, I mean, the Juan Soto deal, going down to, to San Diego really I mean, if he goes to, at one point, the Dodgers were became the favorites. The Cardinals were second. And, the Padres are all but resigned to the Cardinals getting Juan Soto. And when the Dodgers jumped in, Padres got real serious. And once they did that, what they did, that really kind of set the market insane. I mean, I know that Ian Happ had there were some talks with the Dodgers. And then all of a sudden, pop, Joey Gallo. Boom.
He's gonna be so good in LA too, and it's gonna be awesome.
I can't wait. I'm stoked for him for that fresh start. But that was just something.
That's another fucking name. Sorry.
He got
free agencies though. You got him. Hold on.
And Jed got undercut a lot. He got undercut. So people were willing to give the Hosmer deal. People were, the Red Sox were willing to actually give their 13th best prospect to get two of those guys and then take Hosmer's contract. So, I mean, it was like the Cubs had overvalued. I mean, again, here's the problem. If they don't they don't extend, excuse me, let me say that wrong. If they don't extend Wilson Contreras before this season ends, Jed Hoyer is an asshole, period. Because of what it might represent.
He is an asshole already.
I mean, yeah, but this is just a little bit more proof. I mean, all that love and family doesn't mean shit when you're trying to cut corners here. And I don't think, we talked about the qualifying offer. I don't think the qualifying offer would be that easy for Willie to pass up in the first place. It's going to be great. But what it does is it sends him into the offseason without any options other than the Cubs, because nobody's going to even try. If he was able to, he was traded, then he gets to write his own ticket, and he might not get $18 million on the open market. But at least he had the opportunity to get wined and dined and wooed and be told he was special by other organizations before he goes back to where he goes. It literally kills his ability to enjoy that free agency process, which is part of it. It's part of it's a peak moment for a player. And so he takes that away from Willie if he doesn't extend him. I'm happy. I'm frozen. Am I frozen?
I can see you fine.
Fine.
Oh, sorry. I was like, oh, sorry. I saw that in the chat. I was like, whoa. But you have to just, he didn't do it. He got undercut. I think again, it's a compliment to what he did last year, but he got a couple good arms again for guys that they didn't really need in the first place. I mean, the Efros thing was kind of like shocking a little bit, but they got arms back. I mean, I can't complain about the arms. I mean, you get the more arms you get, and some of those dudes have some pretty good stuff. So if they can, one guy though was funny. They're like, he's the number 7 ranked prospect in the Yankees organization. I'm like, he was number 30 last year, and 14 guys were traded away that were in front of him. Mm-hmm. He kind of had a little bit of a loaded die there, but it's fine. He's going to be a good ball player. So I think that those are going to make sense. But I've always said it.
Frisbees, dude. Do you see the video on that kid from the Yankees that they got? Holy frisbees, man!
But I said it on here. If two things happen this year at the trade deadline, if Ian Happ stays a Cub, and the Cubs extend Wilson Contreras at some point during the season, I will believe into this offseason that Jed Hoyer means business. Like with this next season. If they don't, I still won't believe.
You think they'll go after like a Correa level player, like a top tier free agent?
Well, Correa said he won't play for a team that's not ready to win yet.
Well, I was just using him as an example. I mean, pick any top tier free agent, but
do they want to lose a pick for Bogaerts? Same thing that Wilson would have attached to him, Bogaerts will have attached to him too, and that's going to really limit Bogaerts' market. There was that hope that Bogaerts would get traded somewhere so that he would be off the hook there too, and the Cubs, that would be a really great pickup for the Cubs. But now I think that he's probably less likely for the Cubs now too, because he's got that QO that's coming.
Bogart was weirdly hot about the Christian Vazquez trade to Houston. He did an interview yesterday, and he was like pissed about it. I was like, "Whoa, it's not that good, dude." Like, might just be his boy. But sorry, Mitch, go ahead.
I was going to say for the Cubs, especially because there's all this talk like, "Hey, let's go sign an Aaron Judge or trade Turner." Like I always thought it made more sense to extend Wilson Contreras because there's not that many good catchers in the market. He's been there a while. He deserved it. But the fact that they were like made it clear that they were going to try and trade him, if I'm Wilson Contreras, why would I want to like? They kind of just treated him like crap. I just went through all that. I don't think it's any foregone conclusion that they're gonna, he's gonna accept the low ball qualifying offer. Like that better be. If I'm Wilson Contreras, I better be getting a pretty good offer in return there. I think, what happened, you kind of alluded to it. They just got greedy. I think it was completely overvalued. And then all the catchers were gone. They panicked and, didn't want
Oh,
to ship them out for nothing. But
I'm going to get completely off topic here for a minute because I forgot to address this in the White Sox thing, but we need to talk about this real quick. I don't look like this dude.
No,
Not really, right?
different face. Like Zoe, you're just getting white guy beard.
Yeah, I think I'm getting white guy with a red beard.
Yeah.
And a baseball hat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like we have the same like red tint to the beard.
Yeah,
but, like,
it's not even the same like kind.
he's got
of
like a
facial hair, it's just the
longer,
color.
skinnier face than I do. Like he's like in shape and shit, and I got a fat face. But
So everyone stop sending Zoe.
even though he's been
Jake
really, I mean,
Diekman.
2 appearances so far, he's faced the minimum batters, 6 batters. He struck out 4 of them, and I mean,
There you go.
that's always been his MO, though. Like, he throws gas, he strikes out a lot of guys. It's just that his control's been a problem. And that's why he's kind of
Yeah.
just been like a middle of the road reliever because he doesn't give up a whole lot of hits either. Like, I think opponents only hitting 2 or 3 off him this year. He just walks.
I was okay with the deal. I mean, they got rid of the literal jerk off, so that cleared room for your boy Sebi, which I wanted Sebi to win that battle anyways. And they got the lefty arm, and then they also got him back in a bullpen with Liam Hendricks. Like, I don't think people are
Right,
putting
they were
enough weight
together
on
in
that.
Oakland?
They were teammates through Diekman's best years. He was in a bullpen with Liam Hendricks, and of course, the White Sox fans' favorite line. Say it with me, kids. Cats will fix them. So but I don't mind that move at all. I want to be very clear about that. Like,
especially because like Reese was out of minor league options, and you were gonna have to get rid of a catcher anyway. So it's like, hey, the fact that they were able to get something for him, props to him. But the only move is getting like an average reliever that happens to be a lefty. Like,
I was so pumped,
That's-
dude. I was like, that's a good move. I was like, that's a good move to get it started. Let's go. Like, all right, now we're rolling, and then fucking nothing.
Can't believe they jerked McGuire around like that.
What a jerk off.
Well, they jerked Willie around on the north side too, and then they
Yeah.
just kept him. But I mean, going back to the Wilson Contreras not getting traded, it goes back the same thing that happened with Rick Hahn and not addressing the needs, not making moves at the deadline. Goes the same with Jed Hoyer, Carter Hawkins, and the Cubs. The time to move Wilson Contreras was in the offseason, where
Yes.
again we're talking about a 30-year-old catcher who you're going to be trading for a rental. A catcher just isn't going to bring you that much. I don't mind that the asking price was high. Good, it should be. You should try to get as much value as you think that you can get. The Cubs right now, again, they're only prospect rankings. We have no clue how these players are going to turn out. But so far,
Oh
it
my
seems
God,
like
sorry,
they did
Aldo.
a great job last trade deadline with those big trades. What's up, Zoe?
So
What happened now?
Juan Soto and Josh Bell walked in their first at bats for the Padres, and then fucking Brandon Drury, who I wanted the White Sox to get more than anyone, comes up to the plate for the Padres and hits a motherfucking grand slam in his first fucking appearance for the Padres.
Look up the Drury trade. I want to see what the return. What did the Padres trade to get him? Because I want to see if the Sox could have actually done that. Because they probably
God
should.
damn it.
they operate how we wanted the White Sox to operate.
It's pretty
Not
funny
even a
though, because
big
it's like
market.
almost in every kind of big free agent and trade deadline, the Padres and the Sox have been in the same position. And like every
And they
time,
have
it's the
no shot
Padres.
at winning the division either. Like, they're 11 and a half back. Like, they're gunning strictly on the wild card, and they're still out making all these moves. Like, they're trying to hand the division to us. What?
So the Wilson Contreras, and it was so weird because think about like last year, like Kevin, we were like sobbing on the show basically when all the players got traded. When, Rizzo, Bryant, Baez, and the Kimbrel trade. At that point you're trading away everyone, so it doesn't matter if you trade away your closer. But so this year, I remember I literally landed back in Phoenix from Chicago, like 5 minutes after the trade deadline, and I'm expecting to see like the messages, Contreras went here, Hap went there. This is what they got back. Boom, boom, boom. But no, it's like they didn't trade either of them. And it's such a weird thing because, like, again, we in a normal situation, right, Kevin? We'd be like, we're glad that they didn't trade him. It's like, you want to keep your good players, right? But then it doesn't make sense because why does everyone freak out? Because there hasn't been any extension talks with Wilson Contreras since like 2017 or 18. They have zero interest in having Wilson Contreras long term. And I think all the talk about the at first I thought like, oh yeah, like they'll definitely offer him the qualifying offer. After soaking it all in, I kind of I'm not so sure that they will offer him the qualifying offer. I think Jed Hoyer whatever it is. If he doesn't like the way he catches, the way he handles the starting rotation, the just starting pitching staff in general, or the Cubs with the entire front office, they've obviously made a hard pivot to we are going to get as much pitching prospects as we can get. We are all in on our pitching development. And if they don't trust Wilson Contreras to carry that along, I'm not so sure that he gets that qualifying offer this offseason.
So the Reds got the Padres' number 6 prospect, shortstop Victor Acosta.
Okay.
It was a 1-1 trade. Acosta for Drury. He just hit a goddamn.
I mean, again, that goes back to the Sox just don't have anyone.
Giving him a Cespedes though.
I feel like Cespedes.
Yeah, maybe Cespedes.
Cespedes plus might get that done. I mean, it does. I don't think that's like they could have got that done. Yeah. They could have got it done. That was my guy since Alex sold me on him like a month ago. Like that was the guy I honed in on. He was affordable. It wasn't a big splashy player. The Padres don't even have like a space for him, but they're just getting him in the lineup and he's hitting grand slams now.
He was hitting. He had power. He had a decent average and with no lineup.
Played second base. Second base. He's the everyday second base starter for the White Sox. They did this last year too with Frazier. Fucking Padres. It's like, oh, we don't really have room for this guy, but screw the White Sox. We'll take him. I know he didn't work out there. He's playing pretty all right in Seattle now, but I think that was just a culture fit thing. But, I mean, props to like we said earlier, Padres, Braves, Mariners, Yankees,
Twins.
Twins, not really. I mean, Twins,
give them props. They did moves though.
They had a good deadline. I wouldn't say they were one of the top. It was kind of weird though. Cleveland, who's in arguably the same spot as the White Sox, didn't do shit either.
Well, see, that's the other thing where expectations, right? Cleveland wasn't expected to compete.
No.
So it's Cleveland's like, well, we're here.
They're just playing with house money. Yeah. In Minnesota, they weren't any like huge moves, but I think they addressed a bunch of the needs they had. So I would say they had a very solid deadline because they needed clear bullpen help and they upgraded, and then they got some starting rotation depth. But going back to the Cubs, I actually think Happ was a shocking one too, because I think his value is at as high as it's going to get. So the fact they couldn't get anything for him is like. And do you think he's part of a core like contending team? Like he's good, he's okay. I don't think
that's the troublesome part. Yeah. Because again, as much as I like Ian Happ over on how he's developed over the years in the majors, he hasn't been all that consistent until this. This has been his longest stretch of consistency within like a year. So like, yeah, the Cubs are obviously trying to get offers for him because, like you said, Mitch, this is his all-time. His value is at an all-time high. But teams were probably like, like it's really only been this year.
To address this, Mark, again, appreciate you listening, watching us on Facebook. I don't think this is a Willie problem. This isn't, and nobody wanted Willie. I think the Cubs got a plethora of offers for Wilson Contreras. I think they just overvalued him.
I don't think they did. It was pretty much the Mets and the Padres.
And you just think
look at the catcher the Astros got. They got they have Christian Vasquez. That's not. Yeah.
And the Mets actually walked away like on Saturday too. The Mets. It was really just Cubs Padres for the last like 24, 48 hours.
The Mets were pretty much the Cubs like stole Pete Crow Armstrong from them, traded them Baez and Trevor Williams, and the Mets are just scared now to make any moves because they don't know how to self-evaluate their own farm system. So again, like you said, Kevin, hats off to the Cubs last year. They made off with that in that deal. Pete Armstrong is not like a bona fide top 50 prospect right now, or
he's
top
what 100? Is he ranked? He's according to Fangraphs. Fangraphs has him as
the top 30,
29th best prospect in all of baseball.
So again, the issue is the frustrating part is that like I don't see
Tampa sprinkling some up. You don't trade with Tampa Bay though. I get that. I'm not even going to bring that up.
They were only attached. I'm not entirely sure they had really any dialogue. I didn't see much. Maybe there were some reports that they were, but I thought that there was more like this fits. This team needs a catcher
because they lost their
catcher's
catcher.
out for the season. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I really do think there are serious questions about just how. And again, this was apart from beginning as a season and continuing on with Wilson Contreras as your catcher mid-season. How is he going to mesh with the pitching staff? But I think there are legitimate questions like Wilson Contreras. How good of a catcher is he? He's improved slightly, but it's still not always pretty. That's
Right.
always been the biggest knock on Wilson Contreras, like him just
Good follow up, Mark.
a
The answer to
defensive
the
catcher.
right. No, I agree with you. I mean, but the follow up, Mark's question is then why don't the Cubs is money?
I can also say this too, and just to kind of calm your nerves on that one too. I mean, KB has never said anything bad about Wilson Contreras. In fact, I think the cancer in the clubhouse that made Wilson Contreras kind of like part of another clique was traded last year to the Mets. To be honest,
Let's talk about Javier Baez. I'll say it because you're dancing around it. Talk about
sorry.
Javier Baez.
But Wilson Contreras with no hobby in the clubhouse has been an absolute amazing dude, and that's actually what I've heard from. He's not. It was, but when you're hanging out with a turd bucket, sometimes you look like a turd yourself. And in that case, the way that the behavior was going and some of the lack of professionalism that came from that dude is it rubs off a little bit. But I don't think that Willie actually stands apart from that. Willie's actually when Willie's with good people and acting good and act well and are good people. He's normal.
cool, man.
He's fine. It's just
By the way,
he's really influenced because he's very emotional.
By the way, in terms of I know I'm talking about how I just don't see a scenario where like he comes back to the Cubs for even the qualifying offer next year, let alone an extension. I have to say there is the possibility. Remember, going back to the arbitration for this year, they had the money gap, and then all of a sudden, for no reason, like they didn't have to agree before, because like what do the Cubs care? They don't have to mend their relationship with him if they're not interested in bringing him back, but they did. They obviously valued him high in the trade deadline. So maybe things have changed a little. I don't think so, but if you want to have some optimism, it could be there. Maybe the relationship has gotten a little better. I don't know.
A reminder, Mark, the Cubs offered extensions to Rizzo and Baez. Just want to clarify that one. The third guy didn't get one. So anyway, Aldo, I mean, for you too, man, was there a moment where you looked like when you got off the plane and you looked and you saw like all the ding, 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 which moves, was there one that caused you to kind of go cross-eyed, like I'm confused, and was there one where you're like, oh, that's sneaky good? Like which are those?
Just going back to like it's because there hasn't been any extension talks with Contreras, and obviously the talk was he's going to get traded. Like that's what it was.
Don't do it, Fids. Don't do it, Mark. That's not true. I'm just going to say that. That's not, Fids. Don't do it.
It's all right.
Don't do it, Fids. Don't do it, Fids.
Just ignore it, Kevin.
Just ignore it. Play through it, Fids. Play through it, Fids.
I don't even have the chat up, but I already know the conversation that is happening. Just ignore it, Kevin.
Just don't do it, Kevin.
But no, but for like,
I don't give a shit. How about that?
There you go, Fitz.
It was the Contreras not getting traded, because again, it would have been different if like it's like, oh, like we've been trying to get contract negotiations going, we're not quite there yet, but it's made very public. It's like, oh yeah, no, we're trying. We keep going back and forth, and like, oh, the trade deadline. It's like, hey, if we can get something back now and then revisit in the offseason. But again, there's been zero talk. Contreras has said it up until this week. I think Jed Hoyer after said like he wishes that the public narrative was a little different because it's not as bad as it seems. But again,
Well, I'm sure he does.
but right. But again,
We'll piss on our leg and tell us.
it's not like there hasn't been a single report from anyone, a local reporter, national reporter. It's like, oh, the Cubs and Contreras have, talked briefly. Not even that. Nothing.
Not even a false report.
Not even a veiled, oh, this may or may not have happened. So yeah, that was the weird part. Where
like,
they have no interest in bringing him back, but they didn't trade him. So it's just weird.
It's yeah.
especially when you're like preaching, like, yo, we're all about family. And this is like a homegrown guy, won the World Series with them, done all the right things. He's helping mentor guys. I think he handles himself really professionally through all those trade rumors, which is like isn't easy. They're not even gonna throw him a bone, like with the extension. I don't know. It's just that's a tough look.
It makes me want to change how they cover these guys. I mean, like, obviously, Marquee Network's going to do their BS, but look if these players are that, if you're going to play this stupid family card crap, then own up to it and actually be that. Because every time that they do this, they're really torturing two people. They're torturing obviously the player, but they torture the fans because these fans got to know these people. They know about their children and the story of how they got to where they're at and the adversity that they throw these narratives out there and they want you to just, oh, I love him so much. And then like, yeah, both you guys can suck it. It's all about this and it's cold blooded. I'd rather them just start showing baseball drills. Let's talk about what this guy, stop telling us. I don't want to know anything else about you off the field. Now I want to know I want baseball. Let's just talk about baseball only. I don't want to know that where your family's from. I don't want to know who you're married to. I don't know what the story about your children. I want to know what hey, you're doing soft toss today. What are you doing today? Well, I'm working on that. I don't want to know any more family stuff. Just baseball and leave it at that. Or own up to it and be a family and don't jerk these guys around like this.
I felt the same way, and you guys might feel differently as Cubs fans, but like with John Lester too, I feel like that was a year that they knew they weren't going to be able to contend. He wanted to come back, finish his career there, wanted to come back on a cheap deal, and he jump-started the whole contention window for him. Did a lot for the city. The fact they just kicked him to the curb too, I think that was the first sign. They're like, that's another one that's like a rough look.
Anybody that's
see how they're treating these guys.
watched more than one episode of the show, we've told the story, of KB's plight with this team through his exit, and
for 3 years,
it sounds like that wasn't a one-off. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I don't know. They're still better than Rick Hahn right now.
I mean, think about Rizzo.
Frank, our favorite White Sox move to the deadline.
Rizzo comes to Chicago and goes on the radio because he likes those dudes, the Barstool guys or whoever he's going on with. But guarantee he's not going to go over and, hey, let's go check on my boy Jet. Like you could tell when Rizzo speaks, there's not, Rizzo, like last year after the trade deadline, when Jed went immediately on the first 6 a.m. on Monday morning on all the radio shows, and Rizzo was like the next day he's like, no, that's not actually what happened. So there were multiple, and Javi, same thing, no, and I think he's done a better job this year of shutting up. I think he did the quick presser right after the trade deadline, and there really wasn't much to talk about, so he didn't have to give much word salad. Everything that he said actually I thought it was actually a very good press conference. It just nobody was asking him any tough questions anyway. He was getting softball tosses, so he was fine with it. But that just is it's cold. I don't know. He's like the Wolf of Addison. The Wolf of Clark at Addison. It's just cold. And these guys, they don't feel the knife till it's in their back, and he'll be your best friend until you're out the door. And then it's like, boom. And that sucks. And it's disappointing.
Also, from just like outside of even aside from the personal relationship or whatever the relationship the player has with the front office, I think it's become pretty obvious with Jed Hoyer taking over. Carter Hawkins as the GM now. They revamped their entire player development system. They got rid of the third guy who was Sean McLeod, Jason McLeod. With him gone, it's pretty obvious now. Jed wants every last remaining bit of Theo's team to be gone. Now he wants his own team. So who are the last guys on it from that 2016 World Series team? It's Wilson Contreras, Kyle Hendricks, and then Jason Hayward. No one wants. What are you laughing at, sir?
Look at the comments. Vince just took a lap.
Let's see. Not saying KB was.
Vince literally
Vince
literally turned the screen off and took a lap. The comment was, not signing KB was a blessing. He's always hurt. As he gets older, he will be hurt more. Nobody gets older and hurts less. Injury, he's been hurt this year.
He's been hurt. Oh, Kevin, respond. You got hurt this year.
I hurt this year.
Thank you. I don't know if this was planted or what, but I needed a fucking laugh like this. Oh. Moving on. Oh wow, that was fucking beautiful, Mark. I know you don't know. I know you don't know, Mark. This is the first time I've seen you in the comments. Kevin has a history with Chris Bryant. This is very pro Chris.
Actually, no.
Bryant
Let's not. Let's not.
podcast.
I just want to see how this plays out. Let's not say anything.
Let it marinate a bit.
Yeah. Just
What as the deals came rolling in, what deal were you most surprised by? And I promise I won't say Rick Hahn not doing anything, but like, who got
Crosby.
moved that you were like, oh, did not see that one coming? Because I felt like this was a very active deadline for every other competent major league team, and there was some really, really, really good moves that were made, in my opinion. I mean, to get the ball rolling out, Josh Hader, I did not see that coming at all.
That was interesting.
Josh.
And the fact that they got Trevor Rogers in return, though, if you look at their numbers, they're almost identical this season.
I actually really like that move for the Brewers. I think the return they got was pretty good. Like Lamet is kind of a stud. They're still
They
able to
paid him, though.
contend. Huh?
They DFA'd Lamet though,
Did they?
Yeah.
which
Yep.
I found a little surprising. Like
That
I
is a
thought
little
they kind of
surprising. But they still
worked
got a
it out.
pretty good haul. And
Yeah.
they got a competent closer in return. So it's not like they're still, I mean, he's no Josh Hader, but for what they got, and they still got a closer in return, I like that move for the Brewers.
But if
It's
you
always
look,
very weird when Josh Hader's been on the market for like a year and a half. There's been trade rumors about Josh Hader since since 2021. And yeah, no, I mean, again, as Cubs fans, hate the Brewers, but I'm with you, Mitch. I like that move a lot for the Brewers.
I could see
They
that.
sold as high as possible. They got a closer in return. They still have Devin Williams, who is probably going to be their future closer anyway.
Devin
and then they got a
Williams
couple other
was
pieces.
salty about it.
Yeah,
was,
I heard he just
was
didn't want to
not happy. He was not happy about Hader going, but
But again, it is a weird move trading your all-star closer when you're the division leader. So
Right.
it was a weird move.
Yeah.
but I like you guys said, I give him props. Talk about selling at the high when you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think they could possibly get a better return for Josh Hader.
I was kind of confused as to. I know I'm answering your the question you asked, but I was kind of confused with the Red Sox were doing.
I think the
They
Red
traded-
Sox were confused at what the Red Sox were doing.
And they're 500 ball club too. That's the crazy part. That's really weird. Like that's a white flag. I mean, kind of thing. But I'm like, they're 50. What are they were like 52 and 52 or something like that. I'm like,
They've been struggling though. Like, bad.
Yeah.
It got to the point though.
AAA team in their starting rotation right now.
Right.
Their starters.
It got to the point though where I thought they were going to move Bogarts or Devers.
Oh, dude, I was praying for both.
I thought one of those guys were going to go.
way easier for the Cubs if that would happen.
When they started ripping trades, and then when they're taking on Hosmer's salary, I'm like, okay. And then Vasquez goes to the Astros. I'm like, oh, what? And then I'm like, well, now are they going to trade one of the big guys because they're both coming up on contract years?
Well, this was what I was surprised about. We watched in Boston. They're still kind of hanging around, even though they're like barely hanging on. The Giants, they're kind of barely hanging around the wild card race. And like at the end, they were like, yeah, we're gonna listen for Rodon, listen for obviously Jock. I was kind of surprised that more again, the expanded playoff or the added playoff teams didn't really make more teams go for it.
Mhm.
I was a little surprised by that. I thought it would.
At the time of this recording, Boston's only 2.5 games out of a wild card spot.
Yeah. So yeah, and they
once their rotation gets healthy too, that offense is still good. Like I think
yeah.
they can sneak in.
This one actually, I think this is like a really under the radar move because it came at the very end of the deadline, and it was like after like a hurricane of moves. So Thomas Duran wrote in, Harrison Bader from Montgomery surprised me. Yankees giving up a starting pitcher, and Bader was very much a typical Cardinal.
That's
Well,
literally
they
what I was
loved
thinking.
him down in St. Louis.
Harrison Bader is like the most Cardinals player, and I was like, wait,
It's the
what?
most Cardinal to ever Cardinal that ever Cardinaled.
Yeah.
Yep. But
speedy blonde dude who can't really have really great defense. White.
yeah, I mean, that move, especially with the Yankees. I shared the stat with you guys earlier today as Garrett Cole was getting absolutely fucking lit up by the Mariners, but their like freight train of a starting rotation, all of their ERAs have taken a huge bump. I mean, granted, when you're going that good, you're going to see a bump, but I mean, that Nectar who took Dylan Cease's all-star spot, he's not been good lately. Garrett Cole's always had shitty starts though here and there. You're gonna get that with Garrett Cole. Playoff Garrett Cole's a different beast. But I mean, I just didn't see the Yankees in a position to just let a pretty viable starting pitcher go for another outfielder who's hurt.
I think they did need help defensively though in center.
Well, and Stanton's hurt, but then they got Benintendi, but Bader's hurt out until September too. Yeah, he's out with a foot injury, and
He's under contract though for 1 more year. So when Judge signs with the Cubs, you know,
They got the replacer lined up.
there
The
you go.
move, the move I really liked. It wasn't like a surprise necessarily, but I think it flew under the radar. Trey Mancini to the Astros. I think that was a really
I'm
good pickup.
so happy for him. So happy. He's a guy that
Totally.
he deserves a run, dude. He deserves a playoff run. He deserves everything. Like,
you won't be saying
Yeah,
that when
I
he's hitting
saw it
home
when
run against
the Orioles came to town. They had that thing for Bo Dowling, I believe his name was, and Trey Mancini
Yeah.
went over to the family. The guy's a class act. He's a great player, and I'm like you said, I'm glad. Unfortunately, it's with the Astros, but I'm glad he's going to get a shot.
it got a little dusty in the room when he was talking about how the hardest goodbye is to the training staff that saved his life and all that shit. I was like, God damn, man. And that city Baltimore loved that guy, and they still do. But I'm glad they let him fly. If you
I
love
was gonna
something,
say
let it go.
it's so few and far between that you see guys get traded and then signed back to the team. I think Trey Mancini might be one of those guys.
That's a legit, yeah.
100%.
Real good potential for him.
100%. Josh, buddy, in the comments, real quick, Michael Conforto, what do you think?
Is
I
he
don't-
healthy?
Yeah, I
Now
don't
would be
know
the
what kind of
time to
shape he's
sign
in.
him,
Yeah, I don't
because
know
he's
what
gonna
kind of shape.
the value's low because he's not healthy. I don't think he helps you much this year. He'd probably come in September and be very rusty, so he wouldn't help you much. But if you want to add him, take a flyer on him. Now would be the time to do it.
Michael Conforto, you are a Chicago Cub.
I just,
Are you gonna save this? Oh no, go ahead. You're still looking for.
well, I was just gonna say, if you can guarantee me we're getting, mid-season Conforto, yeah, let's go. But this guy's been out of Major League Baseball now for, more than half a season. I don't know what kind of shape he's in. I don't know what the ramp up period is going to look like. The Sox don't have that luxury. There is no ramp up period. It's just
Yeah. Sounds
that's
getting
it.
pretty low, big fella.
But it does 100% feel like a move that a guy that just completely fucked up the trade deadline would do, to be like, I'm still trying. I went out and got Conforto.
He's a former All-Star, like
Yep.
Josh Harrison.
This was the plan all along.
My favorite trade of the entire deadline was trades not made. It actually felt really nice to watch the Cardinals, who in the past have at the trade deadline went out and got guys like Big Mac and Holiday, and there's some trauma there.
Going in the way
And
back machine.
Juan Soto coming back with this. I'm like, oh crap, he's gonna go to the Cardinals. He's gonna go to the Cardinals. And so I'm so stoked that the Cardinals didn't get him. It's kind of a win in a loss. And
That was the biggest win of the trade deadline, guys. That's for Cubs fans at least.
Yeah,
Why? Because fuck them, that's why.
I love that. We need to upload that so I can use it at a push of
needs
a
to be
button.
kept
But
for,
yeah, no, that's got to be huge for any NL Central. The fact
I
that Juan
told you
Soto
guys.
didn't
I
go to
told
the
you guys.
Cardinals.
If the Cardinals would have traded for Juan Soto, I'm tapping out for at least 2 years. I'm sorry, guys. I'm out.
I wouldn't. We would welcome you on. You can come and be angry with me on the south side.
Could you imagine Juan Soto, Paul Goldschmidt,
Who's
Nolan
on fire.
Arenado, like they're 2, 3, 4?
It's almost as
Yeah.
good as Tatis, Machado, Soto, Bell, Drury. That's San Diego's so stacked, dude.
I'm happier I went to San Diego. San Diego was I think the optimal location, at least for the Cubs' benefits, because I think the Dodgers. There's no. If he'd have gone to the Dodgers, there's no. Why even try? Why even try
Yeah.
at that point? That lineup already with Soto, my God, and they have the money. It would. He was. He would
Mookie
be
and
doing it.
Soto in the same outfield.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Jeez,
I am
that
very
was a
much.
cool.
I am very much looking forward to watching the dogfight between the Dodgers and the Padres down the
Mhm.
stretch here. That's gonna be some good baseball.
That's the thing, though. Mitch brought it up. They're like 11 and a half games back.
They'll win.
I don't
They'll
think
get
it's
in the
gonna be that
wild
much of a
card.
dogfight.
Well, no, they're gonna be good baseball games, just flat out games. I think
That's true.
for the wild
are
card, where are
tune-ups.
the Padres at? Padres are in the playoffs if it started today.
These are tune-ups for a postseason rivalry showdown. a la Cubs
Yeah,
2000.
yes, give me that matchup.
team,
Give me
right?
Padres, Dodgers. in the
Yep.
And this
playoffs.
would be a good moment for the Padres to finally get off the schneid against this modern Dodgers franchise, too. They've been in that shadow and they've been taking it in the chin so often and so frequently. This would be the year that, fuck it, do it. And then once you get that monkey off your shoulder, I mean,
Yeah,
they're
I
obviously
mean,
dangerous.
when are they talking about Tatis coming back? September?
I
guess
don't know.
Sooner. I know they showed him he was taking full swings in a cage like a week ago, so he's getting close. I don't know. I mean,
Did any of you see the video on Twitter of Soto arriving and whose locker they put him next to? Our old
Yeah.
friend Nomar Mazara.
yeah, Nomar Mazara.
That's
which I
right. So
thought-
you forgot to name him when you're naming off that lineup.
I know what I was doing.
He's still young.
There's untapped potential there.
yes,
Tatis
untapped
is
potential.
3 teams haven't found it yet.
Nope.
Tatis could begin his rehab assignment this weekend.
Okay. Well, yeah. There you go. Shit.
So
That's
you guys
gonna
better be
fun.
careful. Nomar Mazara is going to be too good. Rick's going to want him back.
Yep.
It's like, let's do this again.
Wouldn't surprise me either. You know
I
what I'm-
mentioned him. I think we mentioned his name earlier, but I think the Iglesias to the Braves,
That's
that was a very good move to shore up that back.
that's
end.
not being talked about enough because that Braves lineup absolutely, and good for Austin Riley. Holy, get paid,
Oh,
young
yes.
man.
Seemed like
But,
they overpaid him a bit.
I feel like they did too. But to get an arm like Iglesias in that pen,
Mhm.
Fids, I don't know why it just hit me, but Fids, you brought it up. I can't believe the Giants just didn't make any deals.
They were trying to sell.
I mean, I'd take Jock or
They're
Rodon.
trying to
I
sell.
thought
That's what I'm saying. Like I mean, Orioles. They sold.
can't believe
the Orioles are in
Rodon
a
didn't
different
go.
situation now.
I can't believe Rodon is not on a contender right now.
Yeah, I feel like they're paying him a lot of money. I don't think they feel like they're going to be this bad next year. So, like, they
Which
got
was-
no
He's
reason.
gonna opt out
They
though.
have
Yeah,
plenty
he
of
can opt
incentives.
out. He can bounce, dude. Carlos
guess
isn't a West Coast guy, man. He can bounce. I thought for sure Rodon was going to the my nightmare is not as high of a level as Juan Soto going to the Cardinals, but I had like horrid visions of Carlos Rodon in a Twins uniform.
Oh no.
And I just that would have really sucked. But I could see I was surprised. I thought, once the Twins kind of got their pitcher that they were looking for, I thought Rodon to the Yankees or something like that. Like
Mhm.
I think the Giants saw the Dodgers and the Padres going at it, and they were kind of like just backing away, like back away slowly.
right,
Just
but build up
let
that farm
them-
system, man.
And well, I mean, but then once this happened, I mean, they've got to be you. If you're the San Francisco Giants, and I mean, honestly, you got a little bit the Rockies. Although the Rockies do have some money to spend themselves this offseason, and
They got
it's
some
not
good young players in Colorado too.
a little bit, yeah, they're top heavy in their organization, and so you got to watch that and it's like, son of a bitch, like how do you feel like, oh, and that's
But
why
that's what I'm saying. You
that
sit,
would have sucked.
They reacted slow.
Yeah.
Rick, you thought Rickon wasn't doing anything. The Giants reacted slow because like it was literally Tuesday morning. I saw it's like, oh, the Giants are now going to listen to offers
right.
for Rodon. Like, what were you doing the past month?
But yeah, they got to take a look around the landscape and be like, well, I gotta, sell while the selling's good. Get something for Jock and Rodon. Get a couple young guys in the farm system. Like, I don't know. I thought that was a wild move from them.
Should have gotten Mercedes back. It was a missed opportunity.
I'm very
Phoenix
good on
rise
that.
again.
The fact that the White Sox couldn't even pony up enough to get Quintana from the Pirates. Oh my God.
Do we really want them to overpay for Quintana from the Pirates? Like, that was one I was fine with them
Mm.
missing out on.
What did the
think that
Cardinals
was
even give up for him?
Probably too much.
Reliever, probably a couple of just.
I don't even know what the Cardinals
prospect,
ended up giving up
lottery
for him. I just saw Quintana to the Cardinals and I just started laughing.
It
I
couldn't
don't
be
know
much
why,
'cause
like, what
he's
the
a rental.
fascination with Quintana was too. Like, and I'm sure, yeah, he's having a good year, but who's he replacing in the rotation? Where it's a
No one,
significant
but
upgrade? And
he came out of the bullpen last year for the Giants in the play towards the end of the year and in the playoffs. Like they could have put him in the bullpen, and then with Kopech being on this innings limit and guys getting hurt left and right, like
if you're gonna
it's
do
more of
that,
an
though, there's
insurance
better
policy.
guys out there. I feel like you're gonna add another starter. You might as well swing big. Like Luis Castillo would have been the guy.
Well,
to go
yeah,
after.
but apparently they did nothing. Nobody wants our garbage, so they could have
Pirates-
just.
Pirates actually got a pretty good ball player in that Quintana deal. Malcolm Nunez. he 17 jacks this year. He's got 66 RBIs. He's a big power guy. Takes a lot of walks. That's wow.
I
That's
think Quintana comes out of the bullpen for the Cardinals, or they could spot start him. Basically, though, I guess thinking about it now out loud, like he's an older Raylo.
Yeah.
Yeah, who's hurt, but yeah, I don't know. You know what I do need right now?
Brandon Jury. Oh,
I need a NASCAR minute.
there.
Are we ready?
I need a NASCAR minute.
Run
You ready?
it, run it, run it.
Let me
Mute
find
my
it. There we
microphone.
go. Ready for it is now time for NASCAR's Mitch NASCAR minute. Yes.
All right.
Courtesy of Little Yelper. Yes.
Yep, that was electric. Dude,
Yes.
I appreciate the hype up video. We'll try and do it a justice here. So they were racing in Indianapolis, the Brickyard. Used to be a historic race. It was on the oval. They moved it to a road course, so they took away one of the majors. A lot of the drivers not too happy about it, but it was a doubleheader weekend. They had IndyCar there, and they had the NASCAR Cup race on Sunday, and it was kind of like the equivalent of if you watch Tiger Woods play around a golf, it's like elegant and classy. And then you see John Daly walking in there with cigarettes. That's what the Cup race was comparatively after watching the IndyCar race. It was a clown show. It was chaos. I got to be honest. I loved it. I'm going to tweet out a video really quick. The problem was like the first turn on that course could fit about 3 cars wide. And they kept trying to send it 5 wide. People were barreling into each other. All these cars were spinning out. No one raced with any respect.
Chaos.
The number one here, I'll tweet out the one video. You can see you can see what I'm talking about. So the best car in the field was Tyler Reddick, and he was kind of running away with the race for the most part. And there's some tire strategy going on, which is nice. But Tyler Reddick's running away with it. We're like, no, it's going to be a quick race. Near the end, they get a restart though, which is nice because the restarts, your lead evaporates because they have to stack everyone back up. Some guys' brakes failed, ran into a guy. People are spinning. Everyone's all over. So stack them back up. Have another restart, and then he pulls away again. Next thing you know, there's another crash, so they have to stack him back up with like 8 laps to go. So this is the restart. I just tweeted it out. I'll at you guys for it. And our old friend, Chase Elliott. He found his way back up near the front. He's on the front row. We don't like Chase Elliott. He's
Hate that guy.
road course racer too.
Asshole.
So we're like, this ain't good. He has a chance to catch Tyler here. I like Tyler personally. He's also sponsored by Guaranteed Weight, but unlike the White Sox, he wins.
Tyler's solid.
Stand up guy. Stand up guy.
Yeah. So restart happens. Chase Elliott gets away. Then all of a sudden, someone dive bombs in. He gets clipped. He goes spinning. Chase Elliott's out of the race. I just tweeted that restart. It was electric. I was pretty happy about it.
I need to see the restart real quick on the tweet.
Yeah.
I'm
Here, I
rushing
wonder-
to Twitter right now.
It's a reaction.
I'm waiting for this bad boy to load because I just need to see this ass clown Chase Elliott get fucked up.
Oh yeah, he gets spinned from the back, and so they had to stack him back. Now, meanwhile, as all this is going on, there's another driver. Yeah, so they're sending him in like 5 rides. There's another driver, AJ Allmendinger. He's the road course ringer, as they call him. He doesn't perform well on the ovals, just the road courses. He won the Xfinity race the day before, so he's in the top 10. But his heat suit, it failed him. So the cooling suit, he's in the car, he's sweating. So now the restart happens again, and they have to do like cleanup laps and everything. And he's like dying in the car. He's like, I need to get out.
Save me, Tom Cruise.
Yeah, you can see his face. He's like, oh my God. Meanwhile, Tyler Reddick's crew chief, because like I said, he had the fastest car all day, and they have to keep stacking him up. And he knows every time he has to go to this turn, there's a chance it's going to get clipped and knocked out. He's like, fuck, are you kidding me? We got to start another one.
God damn it.
Also, I forgot to mention this. Some guy's car literally caught on fire early in the race, and they were like had a fire extinguisher in pit row, and it was like getting all over the windshield, and he couldn't see, but he didn't want to get out of the car because once you get out of the car, like you forfeit. So he's like, put it out. There's like a fire extinguisher all over him. He ended up finishing 10th in that race. All right, so fast forward. We go to the last restart, and as you just saw, if you saw the video on Twitter, they're all barreling in. It fits 3 cars. They're all going like 5 wide. So like it's chaos there. So that happens, and Ross Chastain, who's on like one of the 3rd rows, he sees that like everyone's turning in there. My guy I was rooting for, Daniel Suarez, he dive bombed in there.
Suarez.
He gets pushed. He knocked out the guy in second. So this guy, Ross Chastain, he's kind of sneaking in the back. There's an access road, like right off turn one. And the way it's designed is if you can't make it through turn one or you have braking issues, you can just take that. It's like considered safer, I guess. Well, he just gunned it for the straightaway. It wasn't any braking issues. He just went way off course. I'll see if I can share. I wonder if I'll see if I can share my screen. You kind of just have to watch it. Let's see.
No, you don't even need to show the video. I feel like I'm there, Mitch. Just keep
All
going.
right. So he just drives straight. Like everyone's making a right on this turn. He just goes left, guns it down the oval. And now the guy in front, Tyler Reddick, he made it out of that restart because Suarez kind of caused this whole big crash. All of a sudden, Ross Chastain comes flying out of nowhere. And Tyler Reddick's like, what the hell? Where did he come from? So he doesn't know if it's legal or not. The crew chief's like, where did he come from? No one knows where he came from because he just basically cut the corner and no one said anything. And it exposed the loophole for NASCAR's rules because there was no rule against it. So now Tyler Reddick's like, crap. Do I wreck this guy for the win? Do I got to pass him? So he's racing him hard. And Ross Chastain also, if you listened to the show last week, he's got a history of wrecking people on purpose. So no one really likes him in the field.
Wrecker.
Or somehow Reddick kept his composure, made the pass. He ended up with the win. NASCAR ended up penalizing Chastain 30 seconds. But if look up the video, I'll share that. You kind of just have to watch. It's pretty funny. Quick
question: is Ross related to Brandy Chastain?
No, I wish.
All right, because that would have made the whole home wrecker, car wrecker connection work out really better.
All right, let's see if I can.
I'm gonna have to rip a heater after this, Mitch. You got me all flustered.
Is my screen on the share here?
No,
not yet.
Damn. Okay, wait, hold on. Oh, here we go. Okay.
Yep.
All right. I'm going to show you. Watch. This is the best way to explain it. So here's the last turn. Watch the car. He just goes. Everyone's supposed to go left. He just goes.
That dude looks like he's hammered.
Yeah. He just completely takes the wrong loop. And the next thing you know, he pops out in front, and everyone's like, "What the hell?" It was not very good racing, but I enjoyed it. It was a good time. It was kind of chaos.
So wait, that dude just was like, "Fuck it, I'm out."
Yeah. So the road right here, as you can see, like everyone has to go through this turn, but this road is legal to take. Like NASCAR is no, but it's supposed to be if like your brakes fail or you like there's a crash and you're trying to avoid it.
Rewind it and show it again. Rewind it.
All right.
Rewind it and show it again.
On this unedited vintage photos, 60
Yes.
vintage photo. Like what is that from?
That's
I have
Abraham
no
Lincoln.
idea.
Hold on.
All right.
Watch this dude just go. I'm out.
Yeah, so they're coming down the restart, and it's been chaos the last like 3.
You can
And
see
so
the
we're
chaos.
supposed to make left.
You can feel it.
He just goes, "Doof, I'm not doing that. Just guns it down the straightaway.
That's absolutely hilarious to me. I'm sorry, but I don't know shit about NASCAR, but that's funny as fuck.
It was so yeah, it was like everyone, like all the drivers like didn't know what was going on. Like his crew chief literally, oh crap.
I just picture these guys being like, "Where's that asshole going?"
Right.
I'm sorry, that's hilarious to me. Fuck.
How do I-
Oh,
Yeah,
slap
it
happy.
was
This is what you did to me, Rick Hahn.
Yeah. And then he ended up getting penalized 30 seconds. So it didn't even matter because he outsmarted the field. And all the drive because there was no rule in it, like that said you couldn't take that road. And so
I fucking
Just-
love NASCAR Minute. It makes me feel so better.
Well, the best part about NASCAR Minute is it's not a minute long.
No, not at all.
Well, hold on. We have to close it out.
little bit more
Zoom in on the bush light at the end. That fucking gets me every time.
The best
that's
part
phenomenal.
is Tyler Reddick, the guy that won. So he's kind of like, if I had to compare him, he's like the Julio Rodriguez of NASCAR. He's like a young stud. Everyone knows he's going to be like one of the best one of the best drivers like in the sport. So he runs for like Richard Childress Racing, and he wanted an extension because that's the team that brought him up. He's like, hey, I want to stay you guys long term. Richard Childress is like, nah, we'll give you an extension like when you win your first race. So a couple weeks later, he won his first race, and like I said, he's a pretty highly touted prospect. So Michael Jordan's team, Denny Hamlin's like 23XI, they signed him. They're like, yeah, like we're gonna sign you when your contract
How much
expires.
do these guys make a year? Like a good driver? How much?
It depends.
How much they pull
Roughly
in?
like $6 million or so. It depends how much you win, though,
That's
and
not bad for going left, dude.
it's sponsorship driven too. So it depends if you can get sponsors, and he gets a lot of sponsors, and he's really
Brody
talented.
behind the wheels, though.
So his contract expires in 2024. So he has another year with them still afterwards. But he already committed after that to sign with Michael Jordan's team, the 23-11 team. So now Richard Childress was like pissed at him. And after that, it got announced. He hadn't talked to him at all. So the first time they'd spoken was in the winner's circle, like after the race. And it was like really awkward. He's getting the trophy. And like Richard Childress is like there, like all upset. So that was kind of another funny development to watch.
I didn't know they made $6 million, but
I mean, it depends. Some make a lot less than others. It just depends how much you like, if you're winning or not, and if you have sponsors.
very, very interesting.
Kevin, thoughts?
It's awesome.
That's
Awesome.
it.
I actually love, like, you're talking about, like, you know, how much do they make a year, but they also live on the road, like they're going from town to town. I mean, they live with their whole crew is like a big old family too.
Yeah,
That's a really interesting part about what these guys do is
Like
that they're
real
going,
family or like the Cubs family?
like no, like people they all live. They're all basically living together on the road in these, you know, in their you know, their whatever they are, their campers and
yeah.
the haulers. Yeah, I mean those they eat together, they party together, they drink together. You know, that whole crew is like, it's interesting dynamic. I think that's one of the more underrated parts about like car racing in general.
A lot of those guys in the pits too, like those tire changers, the gas light can, like they're all former athletes. A lot of them are like former track guys. Like you see them walking by and they're jacked and they don't mess around.
Well, yeah, you got to be in. I mean, it's not just like turning your car left. I mean, these guys are holding that steering wheel. Like
There's a
that's-
lot to it, especially because like I know like the whole like, oh, they're not really athletes, but like for AJ Allmendinger, I mentioned like the suit man like broke down and he's having like heat exhaustion. Like you got to be well conditioned to be sitting in the car that long, and just like mental focus it takes, and like even on your body, like that steering wheel like vibrating all over. So it's a lot harder than.
And you're probably your right hip too.
Vibrations.
His left and his right hip's pushing on something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Good.
Or your car catches on fire and
I mean, your ass got to hurt from sitting there for that long.
Yep.
I mean,
Occasionally
this is
Zach
a lot
falls
going
asleep,
on.
which just
Oh
sucks.
my god, yeah, dude. There's definitely like sleeping going on there. All right. You guys got anything else before we kind of take this home?
Wow.
All right.
Wow.
Got a
Well,
pretty.
I appreciate the therapy session. I actually do feel a little bit better about, you know, I could stop being an asshole to my wife and kid now because I feel a little bit better now about this because I just had that bottled up since yesterday. What a dick. Anyways.
He's frustrated too, so come on.
Oh, I know. I feel so bad. For NASCAR Mitch, Fizz, Aldo, I am Southside Zoe. Thank you guys for listening. We'll be back next week, hopefully talking about first place team.